Wait a minute. Is that Starlight Glimmer? Nah, I'm just jumping to conclusions. That could be anyone with light pink fur and purple hair with light blue lines.
Twilight.
Oh, fuck. One of the best things a show can do is acknowledge the earliest moments of its runtime, as it brings a sense of nostalgia to longtime fans of its audience. The only thing better than that is if it uses this to an individual episode's advantage for the purpose of telling a story. This is what makes Amending Fences one of MLP's best easygoing slice-of-life episodes. Spike reminds Twilight of a time when she wasn't good friends with ponies that she lived with in Canterlot, and having learned the importance of friendship, decides to go there and make amends. But instead of her friends feeling hurt by Twilight's neglect, it turns out that they're bright, cheerful, and very happy to see her again. All except for one old friend by the name of Moondancer. Twilight learns that Moondancer has become completely antisocial and spends all of her time studying, exactly what she used to be like. She does everything she can to help Moondancer be more social, but every attempt she makes only drives her further away. A great thing about this episode is that it not only references the very first episode of the series, but it actually tells a story by using things that were merely mentioned within its first 5 minutes. Moondancer's party that Twilight passed up is actually a driving force of the episode's plot, and even the presents that Spike got are used as a means to help resolve the episode in the end. It shows how the writers still think of and care for the show's earlier seasons, and the episode's writing style puts those thoughts together to show how far Twilight has come as a character. Speaking of which, the conflict of character is actually a very interesting one. Twilight is trying to befriend what is actually a very dark mirror of what she used to be like, and even what she could have become if she never moved to Ponyville. Realizing how much her selfishness ended up hurting others and how it's had long-term consequences leaves her taking a real close look at not just Moondancer, but herself as well. How possible it was for Twilight to actually end up like Moondancer and how both of them could have ended up not wanting anyone's friendship is actually a pretty haunting thought. It haunts Twilight as much as the viewers, and facing these things to help revive someone else's confidence helps her character to evolve even more than it already has. Moondancer, outside of being a dark reflection of Twilight, actually has a rather interesting characterization. Now that I think about it, she's kind of like Belle from Beauty and the Beast. She isn't a bad person, in fact she isn't even doing anything wrong. She just keeps to herself and doesn't bother anyone. But as where Belle was at least open to the idea of being more social, Moondancer is completely unsocial, not opening herself to anyone and living in complete solitude. But on the other hand, it would make sense that she'd feel that way. She was actually a highly social individual and even spent time with friends. But constantly feeling betrayed by Twilight left her to realize that getting friends to spend time with her wasn't her strong suit. But even after all the time she spent being unsociable, she still kept the painful memories of wanting to make friends with Twilight with her. It's actually really sad when you think about it. Aside from the main conflict between Twilight and Moondancer, there's also a lot of other fun things in the episode as well. Twilight's 3 old friends are really energetic, and they seem to have strong loyalty to their friendship with Twilight, making the time they spend with her even more fun. Spike is actually characterized very well, being a voice of reason and even a loyal support to Twilight in rekindling her old friendships. And finally, Pinkie Pie makes a really funny appearance in the last act. Being associated with one of Twilight's old friends seems to evolve the traits of her character, being very knowledgeable to citizens of Equestria and even being somewhat of a traveler beyond Ponyville. At the end of the episode, Twilight comforts Moondancer and apologizes for not being a good friend. And she even shows her how many more friends that she has besides her, even though she didn't expect to be friends with. What Twilight shows Moondancer is that even if a certain individual isn't being friends with you, you can still find friendship in others who are willing to spend time with you. You don't need any specific friends, you just need friends, and as long as they're willing to stay by your side, regardless of your mistakes, you never have to worry about being alone. It's nice to know that now My Little Pony has evolved so much over the years that they're willing to have world-building types of episodes that explore the world and involve great big save-the-world climaxes. But even then, it's still important that the show remembers why it became so well known in the first place. Its stance as a slice-of-life show. And Amending Fences just might be one of its best slice-of-life type episodes. It shows how far the characters have come since the very beginning, and it passes that progress onto other characters. It's easily among the best episodes of Season 5. MisAnthro Pony, over and out.
You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old past said.